So say, okay, this is Big's Ranch, and the ages that I lived here were, and go.
This is the Biggs Ranch. And I lived here from age about the sixth grade till I graduated from the eighth grade down at the Hope School, and we had this property, and it contains about 300 acres of pretty prime soil. We didn't row crop very much, but Dad rented it out to a Japanese family. His name was Tom Como, and his wife was Kim. And Dad built this house here so they would have a place to live. And they raised a lot of wonderful sugar beets here. That was his prime crop. And
What did you raise?
we raised cattle. The Malheur River runs to the north of us here, and there's a big gravel bar down there that made an ideal place to feed cattle, so that the hay, when they threw it out in the winter, didn't become muddy and unusable for the animals. Dad had a guy, a sheepman, who would drive sheep in here. They'd have a big 3 or 4 sheep herders. The man was named Philip Coyne, the sheep owner. He was an interesting guy. He couldn't read or write. He never had time to learn the English language very well. And when he went into the bank, he told them he couldn't write. And they said, well, you put 3 X's down here and we'll honor them. And they'd come by here. We had hay stacked all over this 300 acres. And they would have a big mule team with rubber tires, and they'd go out there and pitch that hay on and go right by here, and used to be a lane right there. And there'd be a big band of sheep, about 5,000 or 6,000 head of sheep down there. And they'd live in a tent. He had a camp tender, and that was his job. And he used to let me go down and eat with them. And they'd have, Mom couldn't hardly stand to have me in the house because they used a lot of garlic. And but that was quite an operation. They had these tents, about a 10 or 15 square foot white canvas tents they had pitched down there, and that's where they had their bedrolls, and they made sourdough bread in the old skillets. And I tell you, you get a chunk of that sourdough bread and that mulligan soup that the camp tender made, and that'd last you all day.